Did. We're just going to go into more detail, a little more complicated problems. Okay, look at the first one. Do we have numbers and variables on both sides?
Yeah.
We do. So that means we don't have any right or wrong way to do this, but what did I tell you that I do? What do I try to avoid? Yes, negative variables, okay? Because ultimately you have to divide out a negative variable because you can't have that. That doesn't exist. So if we're looking at that problem, what am I going to move over to avoid a negative?
5C.
Very good. Right, minus 5c underneath the 5c. Please, everyone. Minus 5c. Minus 5c. So ultimately what we're trying to do, we're trying to move variables to one side and numbers to another so we can solve for the variable. Are we clear? Okay. So we can go ahead and solve this, right? What is 8 minus 5?
3. Negative 3.
Right? So we're going to write the rest of the problem.
Why would it be negative?
It wouldn't be negative, it'd be positive. Because it's positive 8 minus 5.
I was just playing for it. Put me on blast like this.
Okay. So, now we have variables on one side and numbers on both, right? So this now tells us what we need to do. Levi, what do I need to do? I want the letter by itself, I want the numbers by itself. So what do I need to move over? No. I can't divide when it's all said and done. Till I get to the last step.
What do you mean?
Well, I got a variable here and a number, and I have a number here. I want numbers to one side, I want variables to the other. What should I move over?
I think
Yes, excellent. Minus 2, minus 2. Good, Levi. Okay, now we're going to simplify this. 4 and 2, negative 6, 3c. So we're going to divide by 3. We're going to divide by 3. This is negative 6 divided by 3, negative 2. What do I need to do with this? Yes, I need the variable first, okay? It's pointing to the c, it's open to the negative 2. So c, negative 2. There's my final answer. Is there any questions on this first one?
No.
Move variables to one side, numbers to another. Isn't this the same thing right here? This one? Both those. Exactly like that. Is there anything I need to go over on this one again?
No.
Okay, let me see thumbs up or down on this, please. And that's from everyone, please. Put your thumb up if you understand it. If you don't, put it sideways.
Do we need glasses?
What's that? No, I don't want to. I'm pretty sure that we have that covered. Okay. Let me be clear about this, okay? I don't do this for my health, okay? So in other words, you want to pay attention. If you pay attention, you will get this. We have a 5C and we have an 8C, right? So we need to move one thing, numbers to one side and variables to another. Christian, stay with me. So I have 5 and 8. If I subtract this 5C from both sides, it's going to avoid a negative. Christian, stay with me, buddy. Come on. Right, minus 5C. And Manny, it's not funny. You do the same thing. Do you understand what I did? We just did the opposite. This is now 0. There's nothing there, right? Silva? Understand?
It had to be the two same variables.
Say that one more time.
It had to be the two same variables. Like,
Yes, otherwise we can't do anything with it. Yeah, very good.
what if that 8 didn't have the C?
And it was just an 8, we could add the 8 and 2 together and simplify. Go put that in the back table. Shoot, not here. I got you. Okay.
Damn.
Look at me. It's not appropriate for class. Okay. Good. Talk. So Christian, now I can subtract this. 8 from 5 is 3. Okay? So 3C. And then I just bring down the rest of the problem. Plus 2. Do you understand what I did?
Yeah.
All we did was we subtract 5C from both sides. Okay? And then we rewrote the problem. 8 minus 5, 3C. I bring down the 2. I bring down the negative 4. Got it? Or do you want me to go through it slower?
No, it's fine. Okay, so how did you get, I thought you would start from
We have variables on both sides. You haven't been in class for a while.
I haven't,
No. We're,
I haven't been skipping,
well, we've moved on. Christian, are you following me so far? Okay, now notice, we have 3C and we have numbers on both sides, right? So we're going to leave this alone because we don't need to move this. But we need to move this because we need it over here with this number, okay? So we're gonna minus 2 and we're gonna minus 2, okay?
Would it have been a difference if we do minus 4? I mean, add 4?
That's an excellent, excuse you.
Oh, sorry.
Levi, that's an excellent question. If we were to move the 4 over, we'd have everything to one side, wouldn't we? So that would be an unnecessary step because then we would just have to move the variable back over. So ultimately what we're trying to do, as you see as we go through this, we're trying to lower our steps and not make unnecessary moves.
Yeah, so the first time we showed us, it went from being small to adding numbers now, parentheses to variables.
Yeah,
So you broke it down and just made it bigger to learn the big steps by a little bit.
you got it. Absolutely correct. Okay, so we moved the two over, right? Now we got the variable one to one side and we have numbers to another. Manuel, this is why it's hard on yourself. This class is super easy if you just learn to be a student. Feel me? Okay, -4, -2. This is like you borrow $4 and you borrow 2 more. How much would you owe?
Negative.
4, negative 1.
4 and 2.
Oh, 4, 2.
6. So minus 6, 3C. Now, what this is saying, this is 3 times C, right? So to undo this, we divide. We divide by 3, we divide by 3. Are you following?
Yeah.
Okay, now we divide. -6 by 3 is -2, and then we have the C by itself. We're not completely done because we need to show the variable first, okay? It's pointing to the C and it's open to the -2, so we're just going to rewrite it. C pointing to the 2,
Mirror it.
open, yes, open to the -2, so we mirrored it. There's our answer. Okay, everyone should understand this now, right?
Yeah.
On 1, Manny? Plug in, buddy. Okay. All right, this next one. First of all, what does the problem say? What's it saying? What type of math is this right here?
Negative 3 times R.
Good.
Oh, negative
What type of math is this right here?
10.
And right there.
Minus, it's subtraction, right? So, do we have numbers on both sides?
Yes.
Do we?
No.
When we have a number in front of a variable, we consider it a variable. Okay? So, we have a number here, but we have r's on both sides, right?
Would it be 10R or?
No, and that's why I'm pointing this out. 10r would be multiplication. This is saying 10 subtract r. What's in front of that r we can't see?
1.
Yes. So we're going to move the r over. Okay? So we're going to do the opposite. We're going to plus r. Okay, write that out, please.
So even though it's a variable, you would still count it as a number. So.
That's correct. Yeah. Well, we count it like a variable till it's all said and done, till we end up dividing it, Levi. Okay, so that's -3 and 1. Positive 1, right? So I owe someone $3 and I pay him 1. How much do I still owe him? Okay, -2R. Click an R. 10, right? We move the R over. We have the 10 by itself now. So this is multiply, right? So that means we're going to divide it. So we're going to divide by -2, divide by -2. Now, I want you to circle the negative. Why do I tell you to do that? Yep, it's going to have to flip the symbol. When do we do that?
Yeah. Before we mirror
2 things. Right, but why when it's a negative? What are the 2 rules that change the symbol? Flip the symbol. Multiplying by a negative, dividing by a negative. And that's why you want to circle it. If you circle it, hopefully that reminds you, I better turn that thing around. Okay, so I'm R. I turn the symbol around. What is 10 divided by -2?
-5.
-5. We're done with the problem. Any questions? Yes. Now I have a question. Isn't C pretty much identical
Yeah.
to to the last one?
Yeah.
Do we have numbers on both sides?
Nope.
We only have it on one side. So we know what to move over, right? We don't have a choice here, even though it's going to force us to have a negative variable. We'll deal with it.
Whoa, see, it says 4x
Right.
minus 6, that's different than 10. Odd.
It is and it's not. Variables on both sides, numbers. Variables on both sides, numbers. The only thing that's different is this is going to force a negative exponent, or excuse me, a negative variable. But it doesn't matter because we know the steps. So if this 6 is over here, we don't have numbers over here, we're going to move the 4. So write minus 4x. Minus 4x.
Always have to match them together.
Okay, Levi, look what happens here though. We're negative 4, 2. I owe someone $4, I pay him 2. How much do I still owe him? Negative 2x, negative 6. Right? Because this cancels out. Everyone good? King, you should be writing this out, buddy. Okay, this is multiplied. Okay, so we're going to divide by negative 2. What am I going to do with that negative 2? What am I going to do with it first?
Circle it, then
And Levi, why am I circling it? Excellent. So notice how it's open. Now it's closed. What is 6 divided by 2? 3. And is it a negative or positive? Negative by a negative. Okay, we're done. Okay, any questions on this one? Good so far? Notice how the problems get more complicated, but the steps don't change. Okay, what about this next one? We have parentheses. Can we solve inside those parentheses?
No.
No, we can't. Because we have a variable inside there, right? So what are we going to do with this one? Very good. And Levi, what do we call that? Distributive property. We're going to multiply this by this and this by this. How do we do that? We just combine it. 5 times 4 is what? Good. And 5 times x is what? Good. Okay, we took care of that one, right? So you guys tell me what the next one is. What's my number?
6.
Good.
3x plus 3x.
Very good. Okay, we got out of parentheses. Now notice we have numbers on both sides and we have variables on both sides. So it really doesn't matter which one we move. Which one do you want to move?
Left to right?
Do you want to move 3x?
Yeah.
We don't need to go left to right yet because we're not there yet. Because we have to get variables to one side, numbers to another first. Okay, so we're going to subtract 3x. We're going to subtract 3x. Yep, so this 2x, and we're going to break down the rest of the problem. Good so far? Okay, what do I need to move now?
6. Which one?
Very good. Padilla, why the 20?
Because if you move 6, you have it off to one side.
Exactly. Very good. So this cancels out. This becomes 2x. We're going to subtract this. So what's 20 minus 6?
Negative 14.
Negative 14.
No, you said so. It's 6 minus 20.
What is 6 minus 20?
Negative 14, you said 20 minus 6.
Or, yeah, it'd be the same thing. As long as you knew what your negative was.
Put in people laugh.
No.
He's taken the class for a few times, so.
That's probably why.
Okay, Padilla, drive me home now. What do I do now?
Divide by 2.
Very good. Divide by 2. And divide by 2. What's my final answer?
Negative 7.
Very good. Any questions on this one?
No.
Are you guys seeing the pattern? All the rules are the same. Okay, isn't E just like what we just did?
Yeah.
The only thing that's different is we have a negative here. Okay? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do distributive property. What is negative 4 times 3? Negative 12. And what's negative 4 times negative P?
Negative 14.
Yep, negative by negative turns positive.
Oh.
Okay, are we done with this side? We are. Now let's go finish this one. What's 5 times P? Good. And what's 5 times 1? Plus 5. Okay, we have variables and numbers on both sides, right? What do you guys want to move over? Good. Minus 4p, minus 4p. That's just going to become p by itself. Why is it just p by itself?
You cancel.
But what's the other reason?
That's gonna be a 1.
Right, we don't show a 1 in front of the variable. It's assumed. Okay, so we bring down the 5.
If we know math.
Correct. I'll go with that one. Okay, what do I need to do now?
Move the 5 over.
Yep, we want to subtract the 5 from both sides. Okay, this is, I owe $12 and I borrow 5 more. How much do I owe?
17.
Yes. What do we have to do to this one? Rojo, what do I need to do this one?
Mirror it.
Very good. It's pointing to the P, open to the negative 17. We're done, that's the answer. Okay, any questions on that one? Those two are the same, right? Okay, isn't this the same thing? It is. Distributive property. What's 2 times 6?
12.
And what is 2 times negative x?
Negative 12.
Good. Okay, what am I going to move over now?
Correct.
Yep. Plus 2x to both sides. This is going to cancel out. It's going to be 12. 6x. And now we're going to divide. We're going to divide by 6. We're going to divide by 6. So this is 2. And then we're going to mirror it, right? It's open to the x. 2. Here's our final answer.
It's not negative 12.
What's that?
It's not negative 12.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
This, 6, 2 times 6, positive 12. That's negative 2x. Okay? Now, if it were right here, like this, then it would be. But it's not. Okay. We're almost done.
Wait, you turn green light.
Let's look at this one right here. We're going to do the same exact thing. We're not concerned in abstractions. Right? Do we have variables on both sides?
Yes.
Do we have numbers on both sides?
No.
We don't. We don't. This right here, this fraction belongs to this f. This fraction belongs to this f. So this is our variable, this is our variable. So there's our number. So is it clear which one we need to move? We need to move this one, right? And how do I move it?
Minus 1.
Not yet. Not reciprocal yet. Okay, we're going to minus it by 1/2. Okay? How do I do this? I need to convert this fraction. Okay? I need it to be the 4. What is 4 divided by 2? 2. So I'm going to take that same 2 and multiply it by 1. Is 2/4 the same thing as 1/2? It is. Now I can subtract these. I have 1/4 minus 2/4. Now be careful here. What's 2? What's 1 minus 2?
1 minus 2, 1.
Okay, what type of 1? What? Say again? Yes, it's negative. I owe $2 and I have $1. If I pay that $2, I still owe. Okay? So this is negative 1/4 f. We bring down the rest of the problem. Okay? That's what we have left over. We moved this over, we subtracted it, we need to get to a common denominator. Levi, help me out. When do I have to have common denominators? What 2 operations? If I'm...
Add or subtract.
Very good. Okay. How do I solve this right here now? I have a fraction next to a variable. Christian, stay with me, please. How do I solve a fraction next to a variable? We've literally dealt with it like 5 days in a row.
Divide.
Fraction is very
Multiplication.
But how?
Uh,
Very good. Reciprocal. We need to flip it. Anytime we have a fraction next to a variable, we need to flip it over. Okay? So, we're going to do the same thing. In parentheses, we're going to write minus 4 over 1. That's flipping it over, okay? That's going to cancel it out. Now we want to move this to this side. So in parentheses, negative 4 over 1. Now I have a question. Can I reduce this problem?
Yeah.
I can. I can reduce the 4's, can't I?
Yes.
4 goes into 4 once. Guess what? We just solved it, right? Because our answer, positive, negative, this is negative 3 over 1, which equals what?
3.
What type of 3?
Negative 3.
Yes. So this is negative 3, okay? But don't we have to turn this around?
Yes.
Yes, because of the negative, right? We multiplied by a negative reciprocal. Okay?
Negative.
Yep. But what goes right here?
F.
Good. So now we're going to mirror it, right? So F, it's open to the F, and it's pointing to the negative 3. We're done with this problem. This is the answer. Okay, the next one's the hardest, but it's really not that hard.
F.
H. Okay, any questions on this one? Okay. What do we need to do on this one first?
Multiply 1/3 by F.
Yes, we have to do the derivative property of this and this, right? Well, how do I do that? Well, these I just combined, just like 5 and x, okay? So this is going to be negative 1/3 n. That part's done. Now we're going to multiply the negative 1/3 times 8. What do I need to do that 8?
Put 1 under it.
Put a 1 underneath it. Then we're going to multiply across. What's 8 times 1?
8.
And what's 3 times 1?
3.
3. What do we have there?
8.
But we have an improper fraction, right?
Yeah.
Leave it alone for right now, okay? So all this right here, 8 times negative 1/3 is negative 8 over 3. Now, I'm going to show you something, hopefully, that you might be able to see. This was 1 at the top, right? I could have just put the 8 on the top and been done, because the numbers didn't impact themselves, 1 and 1. So this just became 8 over 3, right? So there wasn't really any math involved. Okay, good talk. All right, so we just took care of this, but now we have this right here, right? So we're plus 1/3 n. Bring down the rest of the problem, 1 minus n. Can I simplify this? Can I simplify this and this?
Yeah.
I can. So I can add, well, I'm curious if anyone sees it.
They cancel each other out.
Very good. Negative 1/3 n, positive 1/3 n. That's nothing, right?
Yeah.
So it took care of itself. So what do we have left? We have negative 8 over 3. Whoa.
It's 3.
Oh, man. Struggling. I'm stuck in algebra 2 right now. Okay. Now, what do we have to do now? Have to do what? Not yet. Well, I don't have to do reciprocal because I don't have it next to a variable.
Move the 1 over.
Very good. This is still negative 1, but this is negative n, but this is positive 1, right? So we're going to subtract it. Subtract it. I'll erase this for a minute. Okay, we have 2 negatives, right? Which means we're going to be adding them together. So let me explain how that we do this. I'm going to leave this one alone for a minute. 8 over 3 as improper, and then I'm going to write this one 3 over 3. Does anyone understand why I did that?
Yeah.
Because 3 over 3 is the same thing as 1, correct? So this allows me to actually add them together because we have the same denominator. So what is 8 plus 3? 11 over 3 negative, right? Okay, how do I solve that? What do we need to do with this now? Turn it proper. How many times does 3 go into 11?
3.
Yep. With how much left over? 2/3. Okay, we're not done yet because watch this. We still have a negative n. We can't have a negative n. We can't have a negative variable. How do we get rid of this? No. What type of math is this right here? No?
Addition.
No? Multiplication. Why? Well, let's explain. What's in front of this n we can't see?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
1, right?
That's why I said plus 1.
It's not, but if we add, we would get it wrong. So we need to divide this by negative 1 to get rid of it, okay? So divide by negative 1, and then divide this all by negative 1. Now guess what? There's no real math here. You want to watch?